Welcome back to the 21-day Velo plan. This is day 5, and I'm about to blow your mind potentially because there's a really good chance that you've never seen what I'm about to show you with regards to breaking down your pitching mechanics and looking at the arm and what it can do and what it's supposed to do, how you can throw harder with less effort and less stress on your arm, and freaking throw bullets like a dog. And let's show you how. And there's a really good chance you've never been told this, and you've maybe even been told the opposite when we talk about the second piece. So check that out. So day 5, we're jumping into the arm. If you're a dog and you're here for the right reasons, it's to get better. And if you want to get as best as you can, you will have watched every one of the other videos, the 4 leading up to this, where we talk about how to optimize each of the foundations. So if you've landed here, stop watching this, go back and watch the others if you actually want to see and get long-lasting results so that you can stay healthy as you try to throw harder. Got it? Cool. Let's go ahead and hop in on the arm, and we're going to look at, check this out. Got a little credit in there. Now we're fancy. We got the, I guess it's this way, credit to the MLB Film Rooms, I believe it is. They've got some awesome videos on there. You guys can always check them out. I get no kickback. I just want to make sure that I'm giving them credit for this video. All right, so here's a video of DeGrom, and I've actually seen videos of him do what I'm going to show you at an even further extent, and it's disgusting in a great way. And I want to show you guys 2 different things. The first one is how much more velocity you could be getting. And this can be wild. Because especially for amateur guys or guys that have been injured, there are gobs and gobs of opportunity to throw harder. And you're going to see this is a big indicator right here. So let's check out where the arm is in this first position. And what we're looking at is to see when the arm, when the arm right here gets up. So when it's pointing up toward the sky. At that point, look at how far back it is. If you think about a rubber band, the further you pull a rubber band back, the farther and the faster it goes. The further we can pull and get our arm back, the further and faster it goes. Now, you may have heard of something called scap load, and it's something that is actively taught, where you take the arm and you pull it back. What's interesting, though, is that when you're taught that, it's taught as what we call as a limb-dominant movement, meaning where we take the limb and we put the limb back there. And if you notice, when you do that actively, you create more stress and more tension in the arm, in the joints, and in the body. And a body that's pitching with more tension and more stress tends to fatigue sooner, tends to visibly look more robotic or tight or uptight or tense, and is going to be classified as a short inning guy, maybe a reliever, maybe a closer, but not as a guy who's going to get paid a lot of money one day throwing with low effort, who's able to sustain his velocity long in games. And so if you want to be the guy that lasts long in games, and you want to be more effortless, 2 things. Number 1, we start with the spine with everything we do. And we're going to find as little tension as possible with this scap loading concept, which we don't have to call it scap load. We can just call it, hey, when the forearm, when this part of your arm right here gets as far back as possible. And it only gets as far back as possible if your spine gets as far back as possible. So that's why in our program, when we work with guys, they are programming over and over and over and patterning over and over and over the ability to understand the whereabouts of the spine, where it is, to manipulate the spine and to get the spine as far back as possible so that the arm effortlessly ends up behind the head, as you see it does here, behind the head of Jacob deGrom. And then the next piece is check out his arm at release. Right about, okay, it's right in between there. You guys can see it. So he's about to release. His arm's going to fully extend. And you'll notice, if we go straight line action here, that's going to be right along that straight line. If you've been told to get on top, you've been told wrong. If you've been told to get out in front with your release, you've been told wrong, because the ball never comes out of your hand right here. You've seen still frame images, you've seen videos of guys for decades talking about that. And it's not that they were bad guys and they meant ill will and that they were dumb. It's that we didn't have slow motion video readily available for me to do this right here and to really analyze and see what's going on. And it's not to say that concept or mindset doesn't work, but it's just not as informed as this video with slow motion video, where your arm is actually basically straight out to the side. It's basically a tilted sidearm because wherever the spine goes, the arm flows. And it's almost always a straight perpendicular crossing right here and right here where the arm comes out. So if the spine ends up tilting further over here, guess what? The arm is going to be further up here. And for those guys that have a pretty straight spine, the arm is going to be pretty straight out to the side. So if you're being told to stay upright, so if you're being told to stay, get back up here, upright, but to get your arm on top, guess what that's going to cause? Shoulder impingement. That basically means your arm is going to be up here. It's going to cause a pinching sensation that's very uncomfortable in your shoulder. And when that happens, guess what? Your brain doesn't want to throw very hard because it hurts. And the only reason you're doing it is because someone's told you to do it. Or the reason you're doing it is because at a very young age, we play catch like this, and we just play light catch with each other, and our parents play light catch with us, and we do always see the ball coming out this way. So we think we got to be here, and then we raise our elbow up, and then it gets that shoulder impingement, which basically sounds like pinchment. And that's what it is. You're basically pinching the muscles in between your bones by raising up too high. You can see in this video, basically any video that you watch, that the arm actually comes out, straight out to the side of where the spine is at. So, number one, can we get this back further? Yes, and we can do it with our spine. And number two, by just having our arm straight out instead of trying to get on top, so doing the opposite, you can oftentimes make your arm feel better. Your arm feels better, your mind feels safer, and it will more than likely allow you to rotate harder, to move faster, and to throw harder. And we see a lot of guys that not only get a velo bump from this, which makes sense, but we also see a lot of guys that their command goes through the frickin' roof. So if you're a dog, speaking of roof, then try this out. And then tomorrow, in the next video, we are getting into the front leg and how much like a rubber band, we can stabilize where we are trying to impart force and where all of our momentum is going and control it and then redirect it. And I'm excited to show you guys that in the next video.